Hello, thank you for joining me. So today I want to talk about how to properly clean a chopping board. Now this is the extra step. There's an extra step that I wanted to show you, and this is what my mom taught me, and I have always done it, and then she has always done it, to how to properly clean so that it's really sanitized, in addition to the soapy water. Now, as you can see, the chopping board that's showing up in the video right now is a chopping board that I just finished cutting some meat. I just left it there because I wanted to show you the whole process, right? So the knife and the chopping board. So I just cut some beef brisket. I cut a big slab of it into pieces. Took me about like 10 minutes or 15 minutes to cut it. And now I need to wash it. It's always best, to wash soon after you finish instead of letting it sit there. So this is freshly finished, right? Within I would say the past 10 minutes or so. And so now, as you can see, I wanted to show you, this is the extra step that what we need to do. Can you see? There's a Y. Let's see if you can focus. It might be the fat, whatever that's coming from the meat, right? So we have to keep doing that. So I'm assuming that my meat touched the whole chopping board. You might not see the whole part of it because I'm having a hard time setting up the camera. But as you can see, right, each time it has more. So let me rinse this and you can see. So, right, I have to do a side to side. So I'm going to do the other side. See, there's more coming out, right? So these are all from the meat. And this is the crucial part that you have to clean. I'm not sure if, it's a common practice, but this is my common practice. Right? So let's rinse this. Right? So you have to do it multiple times. I would say 2 to 3 times. One time you might miss something, right? So it's less now. You can still see a little bit of the white stuff. Probably fat, but something else, right? And then I just continue to go through. Now I'm going to rinse this. And then I'm going to flip it over so I can properly clean the other side, right? See? Stuff coming out. There's more as you go through it. Go through the other half. There's that much more. I just rinse it so you can see, right? So let's start from the top again. A lot better now. Still some. So, and then I can go vertical as well, right? I did horizontal and then I can do vertical just to make sure all the space are being covered. Now this is the extra step that I want to show you before you start washing your knives and your chopping board with soap and hopefully warm water. I usually wear gloves, but I don't have it next to me. So make sure all the animal stuff, the fat, it's off the chopping board. So now I've done rinsing, and now I just hang it up on in the dish rack and let it dry. So let's talk about why we need to do that extra step of the scraping, right, after you cut meat and that I showed you earlier. And the reason is that, you know, as you can see, as we're scraping it, you know, there's the white stuff keep coming off, right? You know, because I have to apply some force. Like I go across horizontally multiple times, and then I have to go vertically a couple of times, right? So just to make sure that no more of the white stuff is coming out. And that's when I know it's clean. When it's like heavy, you know, you do one scrape and second scrape, you already see a line of it, you know that, okay, you still have a little bit to go, right? So you scrape it until that you don't see any more white stuff, at least not the solid one coming out, right? When it's becoming clear, then you know you're done. At least that's the indication that I go by. So those are food, right? The white stuff that's coming out, like it could be animal fat, whatever that is, they are food. And then so if you just don't do, you skip that steps, and then you just rinse it, you use your sponge, it could still be there, right? And then day after day, you know, weeks after weeks, they are basically spoiled food that's sticking onto your chopping board. And then it's like, can you imagine how much bacteria that's allowing, it's the breeding the bed, right? The breeding zone for them. And so imagine you put, next time you put meat, you cut meat, you know, you have them all stick to the meat. Or if you cut vegetables, right, hopefully it's not salad, right, you have a lot of the spoiled food with bacteria attached to your food. And can you imagine how well you will feel, or how good you feel, or your gut feel, your health, your body feel with all this bacteria, right? Those are not probably not the good bacteria, right? Because they are so spoiled. They are the spoiled food. They might even smell. I don't know, because I always clean my chopping board each time after I cut meat. My mom has always taught me that. And so this is what we go by. Each time we cut meat, we do the scraping first, and then we wash it with soapy water, like soap first, and then we rinse it off with water. We hang it to dry. Now the other things I want to make sure that I wanted to mention, since we're talking about chopping board, is I always have one for meat, and then I have two right now for fruit and vegetables. So I interchange them because they look the same. So there is not a particular way I can tell, but if in the future, if I get two different kinds of smaller chopping board, then I can separate them out to vegetables and or fruit. Right? And sometimes when I cut fruit, after I cut garlic, and then my kids will say, hey, it tastes like garlic. I was like, yeah, because I just cut garlic on it, and then I cut the fruit, and so that's why you can taste a little bit. Not the best practice, but this is kind of what works for me right now, right? And so the chopping board, right? So it's good idea to always keep separate meat. It's always meat. Or raw meat, it's always one. And then the others, like if you have a couple other ones, then it can be for cooked food, or it can be for fruits and vegetables that you cook or not cook. It depends, so I always keep it that way. Now, going back to the meat chopping board, right? So I don't know so much about here in the US, but at least in Asia, what I've seen is the butcher has a massive chopping board that's attached to their workstation. Basically, it's glued to. I think they just kind of, when they buy it, it's the whole thing, but the chopping board is this thick when they first bought it, right? When it's new, it's like, I swear, it's like this thick. And then over time, it takes them probably a few years to, you can tell, sometimes they don't wear out evenly, so it's like maybe an indent, like there's a little curve. But the whole point is the chopping board cannot be removed, right? One, it's thick and heavy, and second, you just cannot detach it. Basically, it's glued onto their table, their workstation. So how do they clean it then? After they cut meat all day, how do they clean it? So what they do is exactly the method that I was showing you earlier. They use their knife, big old knife, meat knife, and then they go across many times. I only done it for maybe 4 or 5 times, right? Horizontally 2 times and maybe vertically 2 times, right? And then it's clean. They have to do it. I mean, I've never stood there and watched them and count the number of times, but I would say easily can be 50 times, right? This way, diagonal. Theirs is round. Usually theirs is round. So they just go all direction, probably no less than 50 times. That's an estimate, right? I don't know for sure, but I just know that they can spend quite a bit of time at the end of their business day cleaning up the butcher board, and then so that it will be ready for the next day, and then so they know it's completely clean, sanitized, right, in a way that they know there is no food being left over, no fats, no animal product being left over on the chopping board. There's no residues, right? There is no opportunity for bacteria to grow on their chopping board, because they touch a lot of meat, and then so if they don't want to get in trouble, right, with the customers. If customer bought meat from them and then they get sick, right, you can understand the consequences on that. So like I said, always do apply this extra step after meat cutting. Keep separate chopping board for raw meat versus fruit and vegetables, so that way you can keep it sanitized, you can keep everybody healthy, take care of your health, and then it will last for a long time. One time my mom told me that she must have read an article or something or news that the whole family got cancer. They think, I don't know whether it's my mom or the article was reporting that that was not their practice, and then the whole family get affected. It's not a one-day thing. It's probably after months and years, right? That you have a ton of bacteria that the naked eyes cannot see it, and then you're like, why did the whole family get sick, right? Because that's an accumulation of the bad, like eating kind of like bad rotten food day after day, right? And so I hope this has been helpful. I hope that has been insightful for you. If that's something you already done, that is awesome. But if not, it's never too late to start. Keep it clean, and then you can scrape it, wash it under the soapy water, and hang it dry. Let it hang dry. That's also the key too, so that it doesn't get moldy, right? So hopefully that's been great information for you, and I will see you all next time. Bye.